Hello, this is Brian Mckeon, Treasurer of the Great Harvest of Souls for God. An email was forwarded to me by one of our members, calling for a National Day of Prayer for our economy. On Wednesday, October 29, 2008, the anniversary of the 1929 stock market crash. The same person is calling for others to join her at the NYSE and the Fed and other places that day. But when you go to her website about this event, she is calling for people to join her on October 31st and November 1st, 2 days after that anniversary. So I ask you, what is her motivation? Why does she plan her events 2 days after that anniversary, on a convenient weekend? Why not the weekend before? Or better yet, on Wednesday, the anniversary. Why not ask your followers to get off on Wednesday? I say, if you can't ask them for a Wednesday, do you really have any followers? She talks about the 777-point fall on Rosh Hashanah, but fails to mention the significance of 777. We all know the number of the beast is 666, but why does she not mention the greater number of 777? Or the old Wall Street adage, sell on Rosh Hashanah and buy on Yom Kippur. I have seen other organizations do the same thing. Get a message that they believe to be from God, only to act on it too late. A Christian businessmen's organization I was active in was told to fly 100 men to Sin City one weekend. When it appeared that they could only get about 25, they moved it out to the next weekend. Then they saved some money and drove there instead. Needless to say, it was a complete disaster. I asked them, if they had 25, why not have each man find 3 men at the airport, or when they landed? Then they would have their 100 men. In her email she says, Cindy, the strong man over America doesn't live in Washington, D.C. The strong man lives in New York City. Call my people to pray for the economy. The strong man is a term used to describe the top demonic spirit that acts like a general over other spirits. I ask you to look at the name she chose for her organization. In the end times there will be many false prophets. If you believe in God or not, the question is, to whom are you listening? What is their motivation? She has placed herself that if the market falls, she is right and wins. And if the market is up, she is right and wins. So I ask you, what is her motivation? Months ago, a reverend told me that the markets would bottom in mid-October and to get ready for it. So I went heavy into bonds and waited. Then, as the day drew closer, I began to believe him more and raise cash. And that is when I noticed a church I once attended is having its all-church retreat. 11 years ago and 11 months, and on the 11th day of that month, after I truly first became a Christian, so we planned to attend that event. I also saw similarities between 1907 and now. The markets were down, and J.P. Morgan, after attending a religious retreat, saved the U.S. economy. And after much hardship, on Yom Kippur and just days before the retreat, I posted my first 2 videos telling people I was buying. And on October 13, 2008, the Dow had its single biggest up day in history. I bought the following options that day and made over 90% that day. The Bible says to be strong and to have your waters hot or cold, and not to be lukewarm, for I will spit your waters out. So I say to this woman, pick a side. I did, and I own the following. I ask you, to whom are you listening? 2 years ago, Trump said to get out of real estate, and he made a killing doing so. Recently, he said OPEC would push oil prices up, and people bought oil on his words, just to have it down 11% just 3 days later. I ask you, to whom are you listening? Are you the man that hires a bricklayer to go out of town to buy precious stones, only to find out they are worthless pieces of glass? The Bible says to seek wise counsel, and I say, seek counsel in areas of their experience. 100 years ago, that was J.P. Morgan and John D. Rockefeller. Now it's Warren Buffett and Boone Pickens. 10 years ago, on an interview on CNBC with Jim Rogers, Bill Waldman, and Larry Kudlow, they were asked if they truly believed that the markets were crashing, what would they do? While Waldman and Kudlow said to get their mother-in-law out of stocks and to move to Argentina, Rogers said that there is only one thing to do: sell short and make a fortune. They laughed at him, saying that the world would be ending and he would be the richest man in the world. His reply was, the end of the world only happens once. So I ask you, Cindy Jacobs, are your waters hot or cold? Or are they lukewarm? What side of the trade are you on?